Hello, all. This is Morning Minutes, and it's Wednesday. My name's Mark, and our talk today is entitled, Where is Your Heart? Let's start by reading part of a prayer from the prophet Jonah in the book that bears his name, where in chapter 2, verse 6, it says, I descended to the roots of the mountains. The earth with its bars was around me forever. But you have brought my life up from the pit, O Lord my God. Now that sounds pretty sincere, doesn't it? But Jonah's got some pretty deep heart problems. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, I'd like to ask you, where did he find you? See, that question should evoke an immediate sensory response when we think of the answer. No matter what it looked like, relatively speaking, the only right answer is in the pit. Now, God showed compassion to Jonah that he neither earned nor deserved because God is love. Jesus himself died for us because God is love. The book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 16 says, We have come to know and have believed the love which God has for us. God is love, and the one who abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. Now, coming to know God's love requires that we see our fallen condition, cry out, then receive his mercy. However, upon our understanding that God is love, there should be a response which stirs up in us an equity of redemption in the way we view everyone and everything from that point forward. Again, in 1 John 4, this time verses 19 and 21, it says, We love because he first loved us, and the one who loves God should love his brother also. So Jonah knew God's love, but he did not understand that God is love. He knew the pain of the pit, but he had no long-term grasp of where God found him. The evidence is in his own reply while he's sitting in the belly of a giant fish. He says to God in Jonah chapter 2, verse 9, But I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. That which I have vowed, I will pay. Salvation is from the Lord. The words vowed and pay tell us all we need to know about where Jonah's heart was. He lived with God based on a system of merit, rather than on an understanding of God's grace. The Apostle Paul, on the other hand, was a man that did understand that God is love, and comparing the two as well as their responses is a study in contradictions. Take a listen to the way Paul speaks in Philippians chapter 3, verses 7 through 9, and see if you can spot the difference. He says, Whatever things were gain to me, those things I have counted as loss for the sake of Christ. More than that, I count all things to be loss in view of the surpassing value of knowing Jesus Christ my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and count them but rubbish, so that I may gain Christ and be found in him. Pretty huge difference, right? And why is that? Well, Paul's long-term grasp of where God found him was the fruit evident in everything he did. His understanding that God is love was a part of his identity. Friends, we will all bow a knee and confess that Jesus is Lord. This contradiction between Job and Paul is just a look at the two different ways we might arrive there. So, are you a Jonah or are you a Paul? Do you obey God out of fear to avoid being punished? Or, like Paul, does your obedience come from a heart that understands who he is and where he found you? God desires a heart that responds not from compulsion, but rather from deep understanding and intimacy with him. So how will you respond? I'll leave you with one more verse from the book of John chapter 4 as we close. It says, We love because he first loved us. If someone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. For the one who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, cannot love God whom he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him, that the one who loves God should love his brother also. And just in case any of you were wondering who to consider your brother, he means pretty much everyone you meet. So until next time, pray and ask God to reveal to you the motives of your heart. Are you living for your glory or for his? I love you guys all in the Lord, and I'll see you soon.